Oh, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me, hear the game, see me, see the game? The usual questions. Quick AV check. Wait for some responses. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Everyone sing amongst yourselves. You can hear me, D. Gaffney. Super. Right, excellent. Everyone can see, can hear. Excellent. Good, we'll get on with it then. Welcome to the stream. Tonight we are looking at the Great Western Express. Now, I thought I would run these two tonight because these are two of my favourite scenarios. And I've also seen people sometimes have problems with them, so I thought I would run them and highlight some of the likely problems people might have and what you do to avoid them or solve them. Some of these screenshots coming in from the community are amazing. Dragline.
The high-speed train coming out of London has developed a fault and terminated here at Reading. The train needs to be towed back to the Old Oak Common for repairs. We've caught you off your break to be the driver of this rescue move. A Class 66 has been brought out of Reading Depot, just to the west. Meet the locomotive when it arrives in the station.
Right, let's head up over to the other side. That voice is actually the lady who does the voiceover stuff on the Great Western Lines. I can't remember her name. Right, got Turbo coming in on the other platform there. This is a relatively quiet route. I can turn it up a little bit. It'll be louder, obviously, when we've got a Dirty Great Loco next to us. What makes your train sim world game not laggy? I don't know, what sort of performance? It might be down to your computer performance specs, maybe? This is a 980 Ti with a i7-6700K or something like that. What else have we got rolling in? HST hype. Here comes the shed. Depends what you're doing, not Ace Gamer. I mean, generally the frame rates are not bad on the Xbox. But it does depend. Some services and scenarios are heavier than others. Oh, another one coming in there.
Thanks for helping us on this job. You need to get that
DSD,
and
AWS.
hook it up. Head out to the Kennet Bridge Loop, and then you'll get a path back into Reading Station.
That on. Put that in forward. Let's get the headlights sorted. Turn the lights off. I'll hold the brakes and release to discharge them. I'll turn the desk light and cab light off. That's on daytime. That's good. Let's do the PBR brakes and get them released. This is Train Sim World. Train Sim World. I heard Sam did attempt PZB yesterday. I've not actually looked at the recording of it. JCS, where can you say questions for TSW route stream? Put them on the forums, the Dovetail forums. Will there ever be a Train Sim World 3? I don't know. Let's get Train Sim World 2, shall we? Who knows? Why is the TSUS Classics not available on Steam? I have no idea, Dominic. Your best bet on that one is to raise a support request, and someone can answer you on that one. It was a good stream yesterday, was it, Aidan? I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Can you hear the running noises and so forth from the loco all right? It's mostly making running noises at the moment. Open the windows and get a little bit more noise in. Rui, can you make a question about the Class 20? Of course you can. There is no zoom on the Xbox K, unfortunately. Crossover. And that'll allow us into the Kennet Bridge Loop. I heard about him having a Barney with a PZB, yeah. I heard all about it. Everyone was gleefully telling me all about it on my Discord. But you know what? As long as everyone has a good time and enjoys it, that's what matters. Can I pop the volume up a tad? Not there, I can't. That's now as loud as it can go on XSplit. I don't know what that dark volume is there. No idea what causes that. Kennet Bridge Loop, just up ahead. Well, we'll change directions. We only do scenarios for one route, Brewy. Only ever do that. In fact, that's always been the case on TS1 as well. Tiny bit of air brakes just to get us slowing down. Pop that out. Tail lights, turn the instrument lights off. I'm going the other side. Put the reverser in. And pop the lights on, turn the desk light on, put the instrument lights on, put the daylights on. Get the windows open so we can have sounds. Right. Hold the brakes in released. In released? Yep, this is dragline. Right, now we're waiting for that signal. I think we're waiting for an HST to come by on the main line, just to allow us to cross over onto the left-hand side. Yeah, this is my favourite, Brad. I love this scenario. Come on. Should really be sitting here with the brakes off. Let's pin down a bit. There we go. Seeing that one generally, how did you manage to implement the secret service thing with 78 car HST and more 166 services? I'm not sure what you mean, Patrick. There hasn't been any more 166 services added. You literally can't finish dragline. Ah, well, in that case, you're one of the people I'm probably running this for then, because I see a bunch of people saying they can't finish this scenario. Do I play different games? I do when I have the chance to. Game driver, yeah. Mostly simulators. Evening, Gilly. Is there no lights? I got lights. Got tails on the back. I got reds on the front, whites on the front. Is there a stream on tomorrow? No, I don't think there is, James. I don't think there is. That red signal gets you every time. What, the one I just went past, Dominic? Or do you mean right at the other end when you've dropped off, when you're going to drop off the HST? DS Rail Class 20 should just show up on West Somerset. You don't have to do anything fancy for it to appear. It's in service mode. Timetable mode, sorry. Are the Class 20 sounds on the Xbox and What's wrong with them, Danny? Thank you, D. Gaffney. I'm glad you're enjoying it. No idea why I got brake penaltied that time. Must have been TPWS approaching that red light, I imagine. I was going a little bit on the quick side. The sound's cut out under power. It sounds like somebody's blowing on a microphone. That's odd. I was running it on the Xbox before release and it sounded fine. Gotta wait for the timeout before I can release the brakes. Why have I stopped? I had a penalty brake application. I'm waiting for the timeout now. When you get a penalty brake application, there's a 2-minute timeout before it will release the brakes. No, I don't know why it does. There we go, the airflow meter just changed. Hopefully that means I can now release the brakes. Yep, there we go. Brakes off. Right, pull up to this red light. One of the other things to be aware of, if you're in the same for any of the locomotives, if you stop using the loco brake and you change ends, make sure you remember to turn the loco brake off. Because the loco brakes are independent in each cab, whereas the train brake is not. Oh, dull. Request permission. Got the white lights. You don't have to wait long. I've just been. I got held up because of an emergency brake application. As soon as you stop, you can request and carry on. There's no delay there at all. Pentacone, there is only one AWS and it activates in whichever is the current cab. There is no AWS to activate all the controls are in the other cab. So you only turn it on in the A cab. Right, so we are now approaching a failed train in Reading Station. My favourite TSW route, Dominic. Everyone asks me that question. And I end up giving you 6 routes. Top 2 in Germany would be Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr and Main-Spessart Bahn. Top 2 in the UK would probably be Leeds, Manchester and East Coastway, or TVL. Don't know. Kind of I like all of them really, but Leeds, Manchester is my favourite. And in the US, Long Island and Peninsula Corridor, I think probably be my top 2. Different routes offer different gameplay, so it's difficult to pick one, because if I don't want to do passenger, then or I don't want to do Long Island Railroad type gameplay, then there's no point doing that. But I do like, with Peninsula Corridor, with the MP36 and the MP15, there's all sorts of different Will I ever go back to heavy haul or wait until TSW2? What's run on these streams is chosen by the by other people. I do what I'm told to do, which is fine because I like all of it. But yeah, it's all down to what the team want to do. Right, activate the Buckeye coupler. Open that and pop the coupler ring. Pop the coupler on. Right, we're now all hooked up, or now we're already set up. Let's get the loco brake off and just edge forward a little. Right, reverser and neutral, that onto there. I am going to release that. Headlights and tail lights to off. We're good to go. I've got to go and do a quick test at the other end of the train. Test the continuity. We were not releasing the brake in the edges and dragging it 20 miles per hour all the way. Nicely done. What are the most detailed trains in TSW? The American diesels like the GP38 and the SD40 are all got tons of stuff in them. So that needs to be markers. No, tail lights. That's it. Parking brake off. Back up to the front. So much running around as a train driver. I got this job to drive trains, not run. No, wrong seat. Sit in the hot seat. Thank you. Reverser in. AWS acknowledged.
You're all connected up and ready to go. Once signals give you clearance, you're good to head over to Old Oak Common.
Instrument lights. They're good to go. Signals are good to go. Brakes are currently on. Let's release the brakes. Dominic, what GP40 problem specifically are you referring to? Right, brakes are off. Brake cylinders are empty. Should be able to roll. As always, my simple acid test here is to just do a simple power on and see if we start moving. Which we're not, which is a bad sign. That's off, that's off, that's out. Let's run down here again real quick. The pistol, right, yeah, I know what you mean, Dominic. Yeah, no, I'm not aware of progress on that. Rear cab door being open shouldn't cause any problems, Derek Green. I did close it, see. Train brake, right, let's just do a cycle on the brake. Master key is locked, that's all locked. Parking brake is now showing us off. Oops, hello. Right. Any sign of joy now? Those are off. And we're rolling. Always do a low power test to make sure you get traction. Because if you can't get traction at low power, then you're just going to be wasting. Oh, I don't know why the stream is running at 720. Oh, XSplit has changed itself. Oh no, sorry about that, folks. Sometimes I hate the way XSplit does this really clever thing where it saves your settings so that you don't have to worry about if you lose your game. I set it on a different machine to 720 for something else I'm doing. And now this machine has updated to that setting. I do apologise. Find a way of telling it not to do that, because I run the two machines at different resolutions for good reason. Hey Alan Thompson, how's it going? Right, we are on the way to Old Oak Common. Bear in mind that this train is limited to 75 miles an hour. We've got a relaxed timetable, 10:15, to get over to Old Oak Common, so I am not going to rush. It's totally the machine's fault, Moggy. I don't know why you don't believe me. My favourite German train. I like old German locos like the 155 and the 143. They're more interesting to drive. Sam, it can do 100 miles per hour. It is not supposed to do 100 miles an hour. And I'm towing another train, which I think, using that coupling, I think imposes maybe even a 60 mile per hour speed limit. Oh, the brakes have applied. Is this thing not giving me DSD alarm? Is that what's going wrong here? I'm sure this audio on this was fine. You like the 146.2? I don't mind it. It's just a simple loco. It doesn't feel like there's an awful lot to it. That's all. Right. Let the brakes come back off. I'll get someone to have a look at that because those are not supposed to be. They used to work fine. They used to work fine. So what's gone wrong there? Why don't I wave at oncoming drivers? I just guess I'm just not that into it. I'll just be waving at my monitor and I'm 66 does this regularly. That's really odd. I wonder if it's running out of sound cues or something like that, trying to play it and failing. Don't know. I will ask. Oh, how's everyone getting on with the 20 anyway? Old train this. Took it for a spin on West Somerset. Nice. The sounds are awesome on the 20, aren't they? Yeah, and the setup is really nice too. There's really nice features, the way all the cupboards you can open. And have you looked at the knife switch on the outside underneath the train? And has everyone experienced the knackered horn? Because Ed has a sense of humour. Switch over. Come on, put the power back on. Here we go. Yeah, it's the nose, home nose, the nose on the horn leading side. Yeah. Well, there are certain loco numbers that show up with the bad horn. So it's not a random thing. It's just there are certain numbers. If you know you get 20 blah blah blah, you'll know if it's a good horn or a bad horn. I don't know what's happening with the manual yet, Alan. I know it's been there was discussions on Friday about it. I'll find out when that's coming. The hot plate is cool. I was really impressed with the hot plate as well. I thought the art team did a damn good job on that. It's that kind of thing that just sort of makes it, dials it up to 11. It's a complete silly nonsense, but it's fun. Alan, if you fall out of your train in future, press Control 0. Control 0. We'll put you back in cab. In the cab seat you were last in. Unfortunately, there isn't a way of doing that on the controller, Wonky Sausage. It was added as a debug command on the keyboard that never made it to the controller. They put you in the wrong class 20. Oh! Well, in theory, you can use Control minus and Control plus to then get to the correct cab. Once you're in a cab on the train, Control minus and Control plus will hop you up and down the cabs. The rotating seats, yeah. Oh, look at this. Come on, HST, give it your all. No, Leo. No, I'm just going to hit it at a steady 70, 60. I'm hauling using the repair coupler, so we're limited to 75 anyway on this train. Just cruise it at 60, holding it there. Keyboards are supported fine, Alan. I don't have any problem with it. I use this one on my PS4, but you plug in the normal USB one, it works as well. I just don't like all the wires. Mice don't work, but keyboards seem to work. Like I said, this one will let me use all the keyboard controls like control keys, function keys, all work fine. Should have a size fits own? No, it's on notch 3 and it's on level ground, just about, so. I'm kind of curious as to what's been leaking down here. Clearly out of the cab. Will there be Russian trains in TSW2? There's nothing been announced. If there's stuff you want to see, then make sure you post suggestions on the forum. I'm doing very well, thank you, British Ace. Grease for the window runner? Yeah, it could be. Off there as well. "26 miles, sold at Common." Daddy shed the class 59. You mean the Euro SD40? There's no plans for new content announced at all, Sam. But if there's stuff that you'd like to see, then pop a note on the suggestions forums if it hasn't already been. There's lots of things I've seen people ask for on the route, but most of them require the route to be rebuilt to a modern time frame because they want things like 387s and 800s. At which point Old Oak Common needs to go away. Beds, if you've got questions on TSW2, post them on the forums so they can get answered properly. Class 59 wasn't based on the Western. But 59, the 52 is a diesel hydraulic. Nothing like Class 59. The Class 59 is almost literally an SD40-2 built to a European loading gauge. When are we doing the model railway next? End of the month. It's probably next weekend then, actually. Can I explain the cut in, cut out on the Class 66? Same as any locomotive, but the idea of cutting in and cutting out is so you have one brake system on the train, whether the brakes are on or off on the train, but you have two cabs, yeah. And similarly, if you've got two locomotives, one at the front, one at the back, or two at the front, then you still have one brake system throughout the entirety of the train, but potentially you've got four cabs that can operate that thing. And the idea of cutting in and cutting out is saying who's controlling the brakes, and so you cut in the cab which is operating the brakes and cut out the other ones so that you've got one thing operating the levers on there. Otherwise they fight with each other, and at best and at worst probably you can't release the brakes, or worse you can't apply the brakes. So that's what cutting in and cutting out means in the case of all of them. In the case of if you've got like a triple header American freight train, then you would cut in the lead loco and cut out the other two locos to make sure that the lead loco is the one controlling the brakes on the train. It's like putting the reverser in down here. You're saying I want to control with this cab. Cutting in and cutting out is I want to brake with this cab. Why do passengers ride to Old Oak Common? The game doesn't actually have the ability to empty trains properly. Don't even go there. It's supposed to. Mr. Matts, that's a good question. Post it on the forums so that we can look at getting you a proper answer from the team. 22 miles. Currently 9:42. Got half an hour. Plenty of time. Where this scenario normally goes wrong for people is when you get to Old Oak Common. You get to Old Oak Common and you stop. And when you reverse, you kind of end up going down here somewhere and it won't let you in and it doesn't work properly and you get stuck at red lights and that's generally where things go wrong for people. So I'll explain when I get there what you've probably done wrong and what you need to do to fix it. Going through a station that I can't remember the name of. Maidenhead. It's got like a CCTV camera sort of feel to it, this shot. Oh, look at that! 3 trains! Now we need a HST going up the other way. No? Denied. Yeah, I'm hauling a dead 43 rail fan. Taking it back to the depot for the engineers to bash it with a spanner. Paddington doesn't model the Paddington Bear, Sam Flores, for licensing reasons. Oh, there's the other one there, look. It's just running a bit slow from what we needed it to be. There's nothing been announced, Fanny and Mark. When will the Heathrow Express be added? Again, nothing been announced on that side. You can, if you look up D. Gaffney, you can find where ICE trains run. It's quite well documented where the ICE lines are that run those trains. Oh dear, 19 miles. Still running about 60 miles an hour. Good. You guys excited for the next gen consoles? Oh, totally. I am definitely looking forward to the new gen consoles. Let's have a look and get some more pictures going, shall we, Colonel Cammett? That's making me dizzy. Let's not do that. You want the route to Hentis Rail? I must admit I'm veering towards the mini fridge, but knowing me I'll end up with both. Well, technically kernel mode is this. There you go, perfect kernel mode. Using a controller you can vary the speed as well. You can't with the keyboard because keyboards are binary things, but on 3 again, get up to the 60 again. One 6. You're looking forward to the Bakerloo line, Mr. Sim? Excellent. I'm looking forward to all of it. So on this route, 66, HST or 166. Let me set up a quick straw poll. Hang on a minute. Let's do this as an actual poll. There you go. I'll put a link up to the straw poll. Get your votes in. What are the votes looking like so far at the moment? Oh, they're coming in. They're coming in. The 43 is getting a lot of love. .43 is getting a good deal. The 28 votes on the 43, 11 votes on the 66. It's all about the HST for you lot, isn't it? What do you want to see on the passenger carriages, Snellen? Am I excited for TSW 2? Absolutely. I think it's going to be amazing. So do you know when the train goes over a merge, it doesn't do a sound like it's click click when it goes over the merge tracks? Do you mean like a track junction? Because there's not actually really many track junctions. This is what they call non-jointed track. It's continuous rail, which means it doesn't have track joints on it. But in the yards you'll see the, and in older routes like Leeds Manchester, it's got the, so you don't get the clickety clack, because it's one great big long length of welded rail, so that it looks, you know, you don't get the joints like you used to. Sterling, it's got routes in the US, Germany, Canada and the UK. 13 miles, we're getting there now. Almost down to 20 minutes left. What you'll find is, as we get into the Old Oak Common, you'll see that I think the Old Oak Common you'll find is jointed rail. Would the RTMS work in it? It's just stuff that needs to be coded. There's no reason why not. ERTMS level 2 is, remember rightly, similar to PZB in terms of its complexity and functionality. And ERTMS level 3 is along similar lines to LZB. So, Sam, you can go faster, but there is no point. You're going to just get held up. We can sit and wait at a junction at the siding for 20 minutes. So I'm taking it easy. We're hauling an HST, and the train is inherently limited to 75 for safety reasons. But because I'm hauling the HST on its emergency coupling, I'm all further limiting myself to 60. And that will get us in time for a stop at Old Oak Common, where we only have to wait a few minutes. So, okay, so that's like TVM 430 then, ERTMS 2, is it, Glen Eagle? No, I haven't seen Railway 24/7 yet. Right, one of the unique splitting distance signals, but we're clear on the left. I've not been on an 800 yet. No, Sam, no, I haven't. Carolyn, are we allowed to run mods if you have them? You can do whatever you like. It's your game. So here we go, we've got a yard going on here, which means that in theory maybe this has been done as continuous as well. Oh, it would be done to that point. Let's go a bit further up. No, that might all be continuous as well. John, I think for TSW2 questions you need to ask them on the main forums, and then all the questions are going to get collated together, and we'll answer whatever we can on the next Q&A stream that Sam and I do. .4 miles. Not far now. Not far. What about sharing mods? That would be down to the person that made the mod. No, there's no stream tomorrow, Jay. There are no mods for Xbox, Leo. There's some people who have been hacking the game on the PC and have been able to do some interesting things with it, but there is no official support for modding. Yeah, there's no way of doing it on Xbox or PlayStation. Tomato, the schedule is posted on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you, Rafa. I'll try and take a look. Darren would love to do multiplayer, and it is on the sort of one of the things we want to look at in the future. But there's no immediate plans to release it. But yeah, totally with you. I'm super hyped for it. Ollie, next time you see Sam, ask him. That's a really good idea. Ealing Broad? No, not Ealing Broadway. Shut up. Don't talk rubbish. When will the next TSW Q&A be? I don't know the answer to that question, Sam. It won't be that much longer, I don't think, because we're going to try and do them quite regularly. .9 miles, and we're now at just shy of 10 o'clock, so we've got 15 minutes until our reversing move. Doing very well, thank you, Matthew and Simon. You can't view the zoom the view on the Xbox, no. Moving in. So far so good, Dave Hudd. So far so good. Coasting down the line. 4.9 miles to Old Oak. Time wise, we've got about 15 minutes. This is the junction that goes up to Greenford, if I remember rightly. Joins up with a tube line up there somewhere. What's so great about consoles over a PC? The best thing about the things about consoles is that they are simple. They're all the same, so there's no variations. No two PCs are alike. Everyone's experience is exactly the same, so there's a lot more that you can share about it. And they tend to be the games and things tend to be much more optimized to run well on that particular platform, which you can't really do on a PC because they're all different. Not only that, a console is usable and playable for £300, £200. A PC at that price will not do very much, so they're also a lot lower price. It does make them a lot more okay. Alright, I'm going to just drop a little brake on now. This is Ely Broadway. Underground line's on the left. Look. Carolyn, is that Muff by any chance? Ease back the brakes a bit. Consoles are more portable than PCs, yeah, it's one thing to pick up and move around, one power cord and a controller that's wireless. It's a purpose-built machine for the purpose of gaming, which is great if that's what you want to do. I like them. I like consoles a lot. They won't replace my PC, but my PC won't replace my consoles either. Yeah, some people find the controller easier to and more approachable, so Sophie as well, absolutely. Do I believe the new next-gen consoles will hold PCs back a little bit? I don't know if they'll hold them back. I think the new consoles represent for the first time a really serious challenge to the dominance of the PC, because they are, you know, the new gen consoles are equivalent of something like 1080 Ti graphics cards in them, which is more than most people have got and would want to pay for. And they'll all have ray tracing, I think, as standard. So I think there's an awful lot to see in the new generation of consoles. There's a lot cheaper way of getting a much better gaming machine than you would have on a PC. .6 miles. So where this scenario would normally go wrong for people when I've seen it, you know, when they've explained the issue to me and they've shown me what's happened, is how far down the siding you pull up to. Basically, what some people do is they'll only pull up as far as the blue line starts and stop, and the game will accept that. But you actually have to pull all the way to the end. Otherwise, you haven't cleared the point that needed to get you into the yard. Got a 15 coming up, so I'm just bringing the speed down a bit. We'll be coming off the main line now into the loop. Will next-gen consoles make the development easier? I'm not sure how consoles would affect the development, Sam. It's just down to timing. PyTrain, this has got a fixed time on it for arrival, and that's why you end up having to wait if you arrive earlier. If you did this journey at sort of 100 miles an hour or whatever top speed you could get the 66 to, you might have a half an hour wait. Darren, the Class 20 was the last DLC for Train Sim World, yes, for Train Sim World 2020. Because the next thing coming out is Train Sim World 2. Yeah, I'm going to do another scenario after this, definitely. I need some more shed action. So even though you see the red line is coming up here, so in theory we can stop anywhere on the red line when it comes up. This is the junction you need to clear to be able to come back into the yard correctly. So you need to be all the way over to the end of the siding up here. Otherwise the rear of the train won't have cleared it. Oops. A bit of overspeeding going on there. See you later, Insta-Sim. Right, so we've got to wait a moment, but what we'll see now is that when it triggers, we'll be able to get a signal here because we're well clear of that now, and that will then take us in up this line here, and then we can just adjust these points once we know where we're actually going. But for now, we get a couple of minutes of spotting. No, the door is shut so that lady can't come in here and destroy my room, only me. My room doesn't suffer from her walking around and ripping everything out with her claws. How do you mean the 166 doesn't have any 166 services? Oh, it has 166 services. Alright, I see what you mean. Will the next gen consoles, will we get more AO traffic? We'll have to see. I've not played with the next gen console yet, Ollie, so I don't know what they'll do for us. Oh yeah, notch 3. Don't really need the power on, do we? Train length does work on the 66, yes. Five minutes. What does train length do? So when you're driving along, down here, there one. You press that button, and what happens is that at the moment that you press that button, so this is where, imagine this is the mark, the moment you press the button. As soon as that mark hits the end of your train, whoops, about there, you'll get a beep beep in the cab. So if you're going past a speed limit or some kind of marker and you want to know when the back of the train has passed it, you press the button and you're good to go. Dead easy to use, you just press the button. Fuel and electric power usage into the point system. To some, yes, I want to get more going into the point system totally, and that's one of the things that can be considered. Yeah, I want it to also at some point in the future look at doing things like taking into account safety systems and things like that. But no plans for that stuff at the minute. Got lots of things I want to do. Insufficient hours in the day. 12 minutes past, 3 minutes to go. Imagine if we raced down here and we'd be sat here for 25 minutes. It's just not satisfying. If you've got questions on the Bakerloo line, folks, I've seen several questions on it. Post it on the forums so that you can get an official answer. Problem with if I answer the question immediately now, only a few of you get to hear the answer. And probably actually lots of people are asking the same question. So if you put them on the forums, then when we do a Q&A session, everyone can come along and have one answer. And then everyone can be consistent and get that answer, basically. Whereas if I give an answer here, I might even give it a wrong answer, because, you know what, I'm only human. No, I don't know when the next TSW stream is off the top of my head. Trainspot next TSW2 stream. If you wait for the it'll be posted on social media in good time ahead. I don't think it'll be too much longer now. Darren, that route is Brighton to Eastbourne, not Brighton to Hastings. That's why it goes Brighton to Eastbourne. Almost time to go. A cheeky Subway Taylor. Very nice. If you wanted to modernise this route, you'd virtually have to rebuild it because of all the changes that have happened. This was midway through construction, but the Elizabeth line is in now. Old Oak Common is completely different. Update to Northern Trans Pennine was the fix for the Class 47 on consoles. I don't know whether there's an update for PC, but that was for fix on consoles so that the 47 has the appropriate amount of beans contained within its cans. Right, so if when we press 9 we have a look here, we can now see the path it wants us to take. So whenever you're doing any kind of move, I would recommend that you look on the map view and see whether or not the blue line is achievable. If the back end of your train was over here, for example, because you stopped here, then you'd find that the blue line going up there and you wouldn't be able to do it, and you think, oh, I need to pull forward and come back. Whereas if you just follow the the arrow in the other direction, then you're going to be reversing and wondering why you're not getting to where you want to go, because I think you end up coming back across here and getting stuck somewhere like there. So make sure you pulled far enough forward and reverse back up, and you should be fine. Let's get the brakes released. I don't need slow speed control. You do that when you're loading and unloading. You can reverse up to about 10 miles an hour safely. VR182 Fab Diva is, I think, what you're talking about there as well. You're talking about the meat. Right, now, coming in this way, that's right, those are right, that's wrong, oh no, that's right, I thought it was wrong, and it was right. I do, just let it coast in now. 165 would be doable, it's another option, and it would fit with the current layout and add a lot more traffic, but the problem with the 165 is it's so similar to the 166 superficially. It's actually very different, but it's so similar superficially. I don't think people would mostly would think, hang on, you're trying to sell a 2-car version of a 3-car train that we've already got. How does that work? But actually, the windows are different, the underframe is different, the cab is different. It's quite surprising how different the 165 is to 166. The longest route's only 35 miles. No, longest route is nearer 50. Sandpatch Grade is the longest route, and Peninsula Corridor is just shy of that, and they're both in the high 40s. I can't talk about future plans, Great Tom. If there's routes that you want to see, then go onto our forums and on the suggestions forum and make your suggestions. Yeah, his CSX Heavy Haul's the longest route, yeah. Only by a couple of miles, but it is the longest route. And on console, Peninsula Corridor is the longest route. Next scenario is just going to be another one on GWE. Just this isn't a GWE stream, Ollie. Long, slow reversal. Alright, I'll put a pit pole up. What do you want to do? What should I do next? I've been raided. What can I do for you?
Nothing, we just invaded.
You just invaded. Oh, no.
We haven't made an appearance on the stream for a while.
This isn't my stream.
Oh?
This is my work stream.
Oh.
Hi!
So this isn't like Moggy.
Moggy's there, yeah.
Oh?
You can say hello to Moggy.
Hi, Moggy.
Shalom.
That's my daughter. No, that one's my daughter.
That one. Not this one. The one that's here. But this one's just
What
an
about
adopted.
Lady is
Somewhere else.
not bothering the stream.
I'm adopted.
Currently got 18 votes for the 166 and 11 votes for the 66. So it looks like we're probably doing a 166 then.
Too wild, that's so wild.
Yep. The female versions.
Bring the cat in.
Kitty! It's right here. Oh god, you're gonna have fairy monsters.
Fairy.
Fairy? Oh my god, I'm a fairy!
Right, the train stopped.
Fairy.
Oh, and the main reason why we came in here, what sort of thing do you want for dinner?
Don't know. Don't know. I'll have whatever you guys want.
I think we're gonna do our what we thought upstairs. Yeah.
We have a plan.
Okay.
Say the plan to people's.
Okay, so what was it? Greg's opened what, yesterday?
Yeah.
So McDonald's dinner and Greg's dessert.
Oh my word. Right, reverse her into neutral.
Bye,
Here.
people. We'll probably come invade later.
Bye. Shalom. Yeah, she'll probably come invade before she leaves.
All
Yeah.
right then.
100%.
We'll look forward to that.
Shalom. That's my new favorite word.
Oh, there you go. Look at that, nicely held, just gently cruising down the line. So there you go. That's how you finish that scenario if you haven't done it already. Do we own a Nintendo Switch? Asked me a little while ago, and the answer was no. Suddenly that number's become 2. And now my daughter's got one and my wife has got one. So we've apparently become a major Switch household. Right. So my wife has got the normal one and my daughter's got the little light one. So, right, let's go into service mode. Let me just pop this over onto that screen a minute. Timetable. And we will set... Actually, I can put that back. I don't need to do that. Let's set this to something... Summer with a little cloud, a little wind, a class 166. And we will do a 2G, not Greenford, that's not really much of a service. Reddington, Paddington, we've already gone that way. Let's go westbound, 2G04, a bit later on, 2 November 12. Let's do 2 November 12, Paddington to Oxford, stopping service. Boom. Yeah, small one doesn't dock to the television, yeah. And Victoria said she didn't want that. And she wanted to spend less money. Right. And I need to put on that one. No. There's AWS somewhere down here. That one. Next station is Ealing Broadway. We are ready to go. We have a green light. See you later, enemy. Oh, speed up again. Should get the speed increase shortly. 5 miles to Ealing Broadway. You like Peninsula Corridor, Derek? Have you got the MP36 and the MP15 as well? Let me go faster. Darn it. Ruby, we don't have military service over here. Not mandatory. Speed up to 50. So the big challenge with staying on time, Mr. Alzies, is about how you stop. It's usually about accelerating quickly, but it's mostly about coming in later on. Oh, just because you use the phonetic alphabet? Oh no, I've used the phonetic alphabet for a long time. My dad is ex-military. Hadn't even spotted it as the speed limit had gone up. Right, let's pop the gauge on, and we also need some daylights. Air Force through. Right, let's pop over here, lie on the ground. Dolby drama, train spotting. You have trouble stopping in time with a baby bullet? Yeah, it is quite tricky. I was much the same, I think, on the bullet stream I did earlier in the week. Just wasn't used to it, and I kept missing stations.
Ouch. Shalom. One second. I need to get.
1 second, folks.
Mm,
Welcome back. You can't brake with the F40, Pian. It takes a bit of practice to get into doing it. Right, 1.5 miles from Ealing Broadway. Which is the next station. Back after production meeting, yeah. Not about production meeting, I think it was more like a consumption meeting. Got 2 minutes to get into Ealing Broadway. It'll be fine. The F40 brakes are good fun. One of the reasons I enjoy driving the F40 is because of the manually elapsed brakes. Right, down to 34 for the end of the platform, and then we should just be able to drop on some brakes. Bring it in, and that should give us, what, a minute left? Oh, just under a minute. And then we need to release the doors. We're ahead of schedule. Excellent. Recommended on PC. I mean, I like the controller. That's entirely personal preference. I think I really do like the controller. But sometimes you prefer to use the PC and the keyboard and the mouse. What's my local rail line? You know the London to Faversham route? That one. Gillingham is my local railway station. And 8 until 7:06. Curses, we was early. Green signal with a black line. This is a repeater, so this is telling me what the signal, what the next signal is. You can see the green light here, and this is for the so this one's for the platform staff to see, and this one is for if I pull further forwards, then I'd still be able to see what the repeater is for it, because it's not always visible because of some of the stuff in the overhead gantry. So they put a repeater in there so that you can see it. Next station is Southall, 3.3 miles, due in at 7:10. We have about 3 minutes, so it might be a bit late for that one. Yeah, London Faversham is one of my favourite routes in Train Sim 2020. And not just because it's local to me, but because I really like the javelins. Speed MIC, you live in Hicksville. Excellent. Yeah, the power changeover of the 395 is really interesting, isn't it? The 378s do that on the North London line as well, and the Goblin, I think it is. Not on the Goblin, sorry, on the other one, the other North London line. We've still got nearly 2 minutes to get the rest of the distance. We're over 65 miles an hour, so we're doing more than a mile a minute. That's just before the tunnel at around Marseille area, isn't it, Fabdi, with the TGV changeover? Right, coming up on Southall. Due in at 7:10. Well, we're going to be a few seconds late. It's fine. We'll live. Passengers will be upset, but I'll be fine. Doors. Okay, let's get the doors open. About 15 seconds late. No big deal. See you later, Matthew and Simon. Missing all these opportunities to go collecting, aren't I? That's a big fail on my part. Next station, we'll have a look around. I'll see what time it is anyway. Prompt departure. Go for it. (7:14) Hayes and Harlington. Hey George, train spotter, how's it going? West Anglian, there's no announcements been made on 800s. Hey Daniel Dawson and Sam Thurloway, how's it going? Train spotting walk. Well, that's what this is, isn't it? If you just don't drive a train, it is train spotting walk. Come into this station a bit harder. We might be able to not lose too much time. The short hauls, the short stops like this are always a bit more difficult. Hayes and Harlington. Five. The door's open. 15 seconds late again. Not losing time anymore, but need to try and hit this next one harder and see if we can't gain some of this lost time back. Yes, I'm getting all fussy about 15 seconds, darn it. Have I got the new Class 20 for TVL? I do indeed. What do you think of it? What did you find, Kay? I think I've got all the collectibles on this route. Not all of them, but most of them. Time to go. Taze, you liking the Class 20? Outstanding. West Drayton, 719. Tiger Gaming, have you reported that on the forums? Or put in support to get even better? I've only got 3 minutes to do 2 miles. Come on. Beans, get on with it. Drop the hammer. Hey, Northern Princess, how's it going? Does DTG have a headquarters in China? I actually don't know the answer, the exact accurate answer to that question. We have a name in China, which I couldn't hope to pronounce. There's even a logo, but I don't think there's a building there, or an office. This is Airport Junction, which is the line heading off to Heathrow Airport. It's also where the overhead wiring is finished, and now you've got the in-construction wiring from when they were building the electrics up to Reading. You heading back up north, Northern Princess? On MP15, the bullet when you close the windows sometimes plays outside. Stand up and sit down again, Kai. Aware of it, and I believe they've made some progress in figuring out what it is, but if you stand up and sit down, it seems to reset it. Just realised I've got to stop here. All the brakes. It's not the fence loading in. I'll explain it in a minute. ECMA 125. It's a lodding artifact. So the problem with things like these fences is you see how it's looking all. I don't know what the appropriate word is there, but it's looking all weird. And it's particularly as I move the camera a bit, you can see how it's changing like that. And so over here, you can see it's a solid object, and it doesn't have any of these artifacts. But as you come near to it, the LOD changes, and then you can see that. So that's what that is. It's just going from a solid object to one with the bars in it. And if you do it too far away, you get this kind of effect. If you get it too close, then you see it popping right in front of you. It's really difficult to get that balance right. Level of detail, that's correct, yeah. It's something the team are constantly trying to improve, finding other techniques. Unreal's got this technique for fading between LODs, and for some reason that isn't working. If you've got a ticket reference, you should be able to just update the ticket, Todd, and ask for an update. Ooh, we're so far ahead, we actually had time. Every game uses them. ECMA 125, it's a standard thing in any kind of graphics engine, not even in gaming. It's a standard thing in graphics, so that performance doesn't get hurt. Because there's no point rendering a million polygon model if it's 2 pixels on the screen. What's the best game engine in my opinion? I'm not really qualified to answer that. I've had a lot of experience at a certain level superficially with Unreal. I've never coded for Unreal. I've used it to do various things, and I really enjoy it. Never used Unity. I used TalkX for a while and quite like that, but I prefer Unreal to TalkX. I think that's probably about the only thing I've never used Cry. One of my colleagues used Cry briefly for a while, and it was better in some bits, had really good water effects, but it didn't do other things anywhere near as well as Unreal. So different engines are better or worse than other engines. They're all good at different things. They excel in different areas. So there's not really the best engine is the one that's the best tool for your job. UE4 uses C++ and its own blueprint system, visual scripting. Your favourite engine is the Baby Bullet. Nice. 4.7 to Slough. Frostbite engine does a good job on the Battlefield games. Again, I don't know anything about it from a dev perspective. It certainly looks good in the Battlefield games. Unreal Engine, one of the things it provides is the sound framework. Yes, if that's what you mean. All of the sounds are driven because scripting and things have said, now Unreal, please play this sound. It's like I've not used Source either, the Valve engine. No, Fmod is another product you have to buy, Scotty. Like Wise is another one, another audio engine. Do I play racing games? I play Wreckfest a lot. I play Project Cars 2 occasionally. Mostly Wreckfest though. Right, heading for Slough now, 3.1 miles away. We're doing 71 miles an hour, so... And we have got 3.5 minutes, so we should be able to make this one in reasonable time. I think everyone says Project Cars is arcadey at some point, and you know what I care more about is whether the game is fun. I have never and will never drive a car in those circumstances, so I am not qualified to judge whether or not it's a true simulation. And sometimes the truer the simulation, the less fun it is. I remember an early version, an early rendering of Elite called Frontier. I think it was Frontier. Kind of represented the space world, the one of space travel, in a more modern or more realistic approach, and it was actually like a space simulator, a true space simulator. But it was so hard and so ridiculous, whereas the modern Elite Dangerous has made it much more fun and approachable, but it's arcadey. So, I don't know. Everyone said Project Cars 2 was very arcadey. It just seems to be the insult du jour. I use it with a steering wheel and a VR headset, Scotty. Project Cars. It's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Right, we're coming into Slough. I'm just trimming some of my speed off. We've got a minute and a half to get in, so we're good. Yeah, I've got Kerbal Gilly as well. Had that one since early access. I mean, one of the key challenges with making a simulation is also is that fine balance between simulation and fun. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be entertaining, but you don't want to compromise the realism. So it's a really tricky balance, getting that right. And I think we do a reasonable job. We have counties, Sam. So we're in the county of Kent. Release. I believe we are on to Reading, yeah. Yep, Reading, due in at 7:51, about another half an hour. Have you ever Animal Crossing? I've watched Victoria playing it on her Switch. Am I correct in saying if you're not in the seat and the alarms go off, I'll keep driving? No, I mean once this thing is going, I get off and walk away. Once the alarm goes off, that's it. The train will come to a halt. In fact, in some of the trains, the minute you stand up, it takes your foot off this pedal, which means the alarms come on immediately. Right, Maidenhead, 5.7 miles. Bit more of a gap between the stations now that we're a bit more out of the city. Yeah, I like playing bus sims as well. I play all kinds of simulators, Sam. I'm interested in simulators because I like the style of gameplay, but also because I like seeing how other people approach the problem of creating simulators in games. So you name it, I've probably played it. No, the alarms won't trigger the AI. Let's go to up the line a bit. Yeah, they did. I think they did a good job on the 377 as well. We've had a lot of positive feedback on the 377. I don't think there's any trains in the game I don't enjoy driving though. They're all good, interesting, different trains. There's some great functionality on them. Right, 4 miles, and we've got about 5 and a bit minutes. We're doing 70 miles an hour, so we're gaining time on that now, so we should be able to make good time to Maidenhead. So if you come into the stations fast enough and brake sharply enough, as they do in real life, then you should be able to just about maintain the schedule. Oh, I love the 101, Dave. The 101 is probably one of my favourites. Have I played the Long Dark? No. What's it? 90, is it, this thing? Yeah, 90. .7 miles, 3.5 minutes to go. Hey, do I mark up? Would you ever consider lost routes? Well, technically, it is Leeds Manchester is, because the route is very different now to how it was then, and they wouldn't services from Leeds to Manchester or Manchester to Leeds wouldn't use Victoria anymore. They go via Piccadilly. And Victoria is almost a shadow of its former self. So that route's changed considerably in the modern times versus when it's modelled. Right, coming up on Maidenhead, 7:32, due in 2 minutes, and we're now slowing down. Very good, thank you, Hotness. Press Control, if you're on the PC, press Control 0, Alex Rent. A minute early to this station. Oh yeah, anything's possible, Gilly. It's been done in Train Sim 2020 for certain. It's a bit harder. It doesn't exist anymore, but it's certainly possible. The Western Lines of Scotland route in Train Sim 2020 doesn't exist. Hey Tristan, how's it going? There. They weren't on, they weren't going to get on, honestly. Slow coaches. Slow coaches! What are some challenges making older historical routes like Transpennine? Well, you can't use Google Earth really, or you can, if the scars are still present on the landscape, you can still kind of see what's going on, but you lose tons of detail. So you're reliant a lot more on either historic aerial photography, which doesn't really exist that much depending on when you're looking for, or just general photography, trying to find old original track plans, which the older you get, the more hand-drawn and rubbish, frankly, they are, as opposed to sort of modern CAD drawings. And then there's an awful lot of interpretation, and then you're trying to work out where the signals are and how they link to each other and what they're doing. And again, you find enough photographs, you can sort of piece roughly the picture together, and then you just have to kind of make up the bits that you can't see, because no one takes a photograph of every inch of a line. Old Ordnance Survey maps, yeah. There is resources out there to do it. I mean, the opposite of that problem is that when you're using, when you're trying to make a modern route, you have the opposite problem in that you've got too much data, and you can end up dwelling on and spending too much time trying to perfectly, because you know exactly where every road and blade of grass is, and you end up spending a ridiculous amount of time doing 1 mile of track and never actually getting anywhere. So that it sort of swings and roundabouts on both sides of the scale. Is there a new version of the 422? No, just the 422 that comes in the Bone Rolleston. Sophie, in theory, any of that could even be done at the moment. It's not something that's been done. There's quite a level of complexity there to doing it. I'm not sure how it would interface with the and work the lever frame properly, but anything's possible. There's no intentions to do that yet. That would be a level of gameplay that most people would not understand, I think. Do we use cab views? Wherever we can get them, we'll use cab views. They're a really good way of understanding what's going on with the signalling in a lot of ways. Probably one of the most useful things is signalling, but also for seeing what the scenery looks like for visual cues. And looking at the view at any given moment and saying, what's dominating my view at the moment? Oh, there's a skyscraper over there. Right, we should probably think about capturing that. So they're not available for lots of things. If we can go onto a railway line with the operator and get in the cab and do a cab ride video, we'll try and do that. That happens less often than I'd like, but there's a lot of cab ride videos on places like YouTube, or you can get them on DVDs. Like Video 125 have got a Bakerloo line cab ride, which is quite good. It's an old one now, it's back from Silverlink days, but this will be my last scenario tonight, Sam. I'm supposed to only stream for an hour. We're currently at 2 hours and 17 minutes, but that's fine. 3.9 to Twyford. Why does the reading light not do anything? What, this thing? That's the cab light. Where's the reading light? Okay, fill me in. Where's the reading light? It's right of the main gauges. Ah, reading light. Don't know. I would expect it to light something up over here. How British am I? How British do I need to be? I was born here. I live here. It says it on my passport. How do you model them? No, we don't use laser scans. That would be quite difficult to arrange, I think. No, the team use photographs, as many photographs as they can get hold of. Try and do a photo survey where they just take 1,000 photographs all over the train, dead-ons, side-ons, all the rest of it, and then they use their artistic skill. Oh, hi, British, how are you? You see? I look over at the chat and a glimpse at what's going on, and I get completely the wrong picture. Right, coming into Twyford now. How do you use AWS in TSW class 166? You need to just flick this switch here to turn AWS on, and then DSD is this one here. Right, coming into Twyford, and we're good 2 minutes early again. How many stops left? Can't be much left if we're at Twyford. No, Reading is next. So this is the penultimate stop. One more stop to go. We're due there in 7:51, so we've got a bit of a trek to the next stop. What's our scores been like on the old stops and times? 494, 500, 500. So we're getting 500s across the board on timings, 480, 490 on the locations. So I've not been paying too much attention to the locations, to be honest. Almost full maxed out on points. We're only missing out on odd little points here and there. Proves the schedule can be kept, though. It's tough, but it's doable. Well early. Got to wait a minute. A minute? How am I supposed to wait a minute? Do I do any programming at DTG? No. Well, I do tools development for if I need to do a job. Like we had a tool, we needed to do some stuff with achievements, and needed to process some XML files, and rather than do it by hand, well, somebody else was actually going to do that. I wrote him a little tool to do it automatically, but that's not stuff that would ever get shipped. That's just supporting stuff. No, we've got a team of engineers that are significantly better than me at that sort of thing, and they are the ones that do the engineering. I did little bits of engineering on Train Sim 1. I rewrote the track I added track IR IE and updated, fixed a bunch of bugs, and I did the rail driver interface rewrite. But I've not really been a programmer at this just, and it's never been my job to do that. I just like interfering occasionally and making people's life difficult. Think you're supposed to leave the doors open? You probably are, but I forgot. I'm always excited and hyped to get out of the station, so it's like, close the doors. If you've not got on, tough. I've got a schedule to keep. You passengers are not my problem. Evening, Monda. No, because well, it depends on how the route's been set up. You may be okay with Signals Bay Area. It may not grant the following route until the instruction completes. Oh yes, I added some extra little functions, didn't I, in TS1 to allow tender refilling, so that in Riviera Line, you can fill up the tenders with water. That was a little bit of fun that I did. .6 miles. Was I in Kuju? No, I wasn't. No. No, I joined when it was railsimulator.com. Has there been any adjustment to the passenger AI, passenger tracking, passengers waiting to board station? No. But ask TSW2 questions in the TSW2 discussion groups on the forums, and you'll get proper answers to those questions. Three and a half miles. We're due in about 5 minutes. Yeah, so gonna make this well early. Is it a hot day in Southeast today? Because I am dying in here today. 2.7 miles. I like this corridor down here where you've got all of the bridges. It's a really nice, it's good for the high speed stuff because you can just whiz down this line nice and quickly. Holy moly, Wilberforce, that is a machine. That is a machine. Is that Microsoft over there? I think it is. Hello, Microsoft. Right, get ready for the 40 reduction. I believe it's Microsoft. Can't remember for sure, but I'm sure someone said that. Microsoft have a huge, huge campus at Reading. What do I prefer between? Do I prefer between the 166 and the 43? Oh, the 166. The 43, it's fast, but I like you kind of just get it going and leave it, whereas I prefer to speed up, slow down. But I like commuter type services. I feel more like I'm driving them instead of babysitting them. Do I really want to know what an HST is doing on that road? That's weird. Let's not ask questions, yeah? That is Microsoft, is it, Gilly? Yeah. Yeah, I've been there once. At a previous job, we went to help with the Dynamics CRM UK launch. No, MSTS was born in Godalming in Surrey, Rui, because it was built by Kuju. Microsoft were the publishers, but it was actually developed in by Kuju. Tons of time. Welcome to Reading. Oh, he was waiting for me so that he could cross over onto the fast lines, probably. Did Kuju exist prior to MSTS? Yeah. MSTS was originally based on a game called Team Apache, was the game engine that they used. And that was another Kuju game. I think it was Team Apache. Was sort of the game engine they used. Originally had the game engine that MSTS was then built using. See you later, British Ace. Kai, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Just going to sit and watch a train now for a few seconds. Lock the doors. And that's us done. We've got pointses. Gold medal. Come on, up you go, up you go, up you go. Give me a level up. Yes! 116. I'm disproportionately excited about that level up. I'm happy about that. All right, then, folks. Thank you very much for watching. There is no stream tomorrow. Next stream will be on Monday, and I've no idea what it is or who's doing it. So come along for Monday for stream potluck. All right, folks. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.